Okay, good evening, everybody. We'll call the November 2nd meeting to order. Would you stand for the pledge? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Town clerk to do the roll call.
Councilman Coleman.
Here.
Councilwoman Allen. Here. Councilman Paddock.
Here.
Councilman Speaker. Here. Supervisor Page.
Here. I have the town board accepts the agendas prepared by the town supervisor. I do have to add a discussion item that was brought forward by the assessor, discussion with the town attorney about an item that has been changed in the state tax laws about senior exemptions. But he gave it to me the other day with just a reference number. I need to ask Mary Lou to look it up. And then he also is asking that we establish the RPS digital property cards as our official cards. So if they change it in the RPS system and it doesn't get changed on the paper card. So I'm going to ask that we add a resolution on that. And Mary Lou can weigh in. It's a 2-sentence resolution, and you can tell me if I need to change the words on it.
Okay, I'll make that motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained. The financial report, and my apologies, but since it's the second and I have a new assistant, I do not have it ready for today. She's been there a couple days this week. She's still in transition from her previous job. And starting Monday will be full time with us. So tomorrow is her last day at her old job. I do have the revenue numbers though. The general fund revenue is $118,578.45. The highway fund revenue, $818.48. The general fund, and that should be, no, that is 1023. That is correct. As posted on the agenda, the expenditures for October for the general fund total $149,325.62. For the highway fund, $134,648.78, and the rest is as posted. Correspondence report. There's quite a bit of correspondence in your folders. Ironically, we're talking about different bank accounts, and right after we did that, I got a letter from the Bank of Greene County telling me about their services. So I don't know if we were sending good karma their way. Perico, who we do our propane with, and Kate, maybe you can help me share this to the employees. For your own home, they will offer a special discount at Perico for our employees. They don't say how much, but they're just saying they can sign up for the discount. So passing that on. I want to include the letter from the Stone Ridge Library of the amount of funding for the Stone Ridge for our budget. We did include that number that they requested in our budget, but I just wanted to call it to your attention. You all should have a letter from a resident regarding the short-term rental law, and I'll let you guys read that. Also, the Reuse Innovation Center Public Workshop. This is something the county has been working on, and what they're doing, what they want to do is a central location in the county, or maybe multiple locations that would be very similar to what we're doing with TOR, which is, what does it stand for, Aaron? I'm sorry. The reuse center at the transfer station.
The Town of Rochester Exchange?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. I couldn't remember what the exchange, that was the part of the word I was forgetting. So this is, the county is looking at doing a similar thing. They hired a consultant who is gathering information and doing a report about the feasibility of it. They are having an event to present their final report on Monday, November 20th. It's a Zoom registration. Or I guess maybe it is in person too. I'm not entirely clear from this ad. What's that? We do have a meeting that night. This is 4 to 6, so our meeting is at 6:30. Included this email that I got from a resident about high court government social media cases. I scanned it, it's interesting. Included in a resolution from the Village of New Paltz, that they were opposing the delivery rate increases by Central Hudson Gas and Electric. If we want to do similar, we could. I did attend the public comment session and representing our residents as well as all the other residents as being the president of the Supervisors Association, and did suggest to the Public Service Commission that not only should they not give an increase, they should decrease their rate, their delivery rate. So I did get some head nods from the people from the Public Service Commission when I said it. Who knows? I got a very nice letter from Congressman Ryan. It's appreciating our assistance when the CARES van was here. And I think that's the bulk. There have been some other communications that have been emailed to you. There is a letter in here from our selective insurance carrier regarding the coverage on the case that they are working on our behalf. And I forwarded to you an email from that attorney in your email late this afternoon. That was a position that he filed on our behalf. So I think that's it for communications. Moving to the supervisor's update of the rail trail project. The surface of the trail is complete. It looks great. They are now moving to the bridges. Turns out the plates that were on there were stainless steel and are in decent shape, but they are replacing them anyway. But it became a little less easy as they had hoped it would be. So they're in the process of doing that. I won't even tell you how they got to it, but they did, because they have to get to it from underneath. And it's about a 30-foot ravine under there. So they sort of took their man lift, the boom lift, and went down and angled it in underneath and managed to get under there to cut the decking off. And then our highway workers are going to help them with removing, once the plates are cut, they're going to remove all the decking. And by the year end, that project should be completed. Grant updates. When it rains, it pours. The Algerville Firehouse, we got the new filtration system installed, and the plumber who was doing it noticed that there was methane in the water. So now we are having to investigate a filtration system to remove the methane. It's a more expensive system. Yeah. So there you go. One step forward, one step backward. The Boyce Mill Road Bridge, I did hear back from the consultant, the engineering firm. They would like to, in the very near future, schedule a public presentation for the public on we heard back from the DOT, the preliminary design has been approved. And so they would like to do a presentation for the public. Michael, I know you were very involved, so before I gave them some dates, I wanted to talk to you to find out good dates for you. I know our November is budget, and so I put them off for a little bit right now, but I told them I would look into it, and especially with the holidays coming up, but maybe sometime in early December, we can get that presentation.
We'll do a weekend?
I didn't ask. I didn't ask.
They want to do it for the public, right?
Yeah. 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 Evening was normally how we've done it in the past. And but I'll get with you and find some dates. The park funding, the legislature did approve the contract. I have not gotten a clean copy yet of the contract from the county. That was approved at their October meeting, so I'm anticipating someday in the near future, I'll get a contract from them and we'll sign it. And then we'll start turning in receipts for our funding. And once we get that contract signed, I'm gonna bring an RFP so we get an engineering firm to design the septic system. So we can get a jump on that. So hopefully we can start building as soon as we can in the spring. Preliminary budget. I just want to say to anybody who may have seen the Daily Freeman article online yesterday where it said Town of Rochester 25% budget increase. That is correct. The reason for the budget increase is the Voice Mill Road Bridge that I just talked about is a $2 million project. There's $1 million in next year's budget. However, the part the article didn't mention is the revenue side is 95% of that $1 million that's reimbursable and paid back to the town. So it's a very misleading article. In reality, where the budget sits right now, it is a 5.4% tax levy increase, which translates to a 3.3 actual dollar tax increase, which is $6.75 per 100,000. So if you have a $300,000 property, you're going to pay about $20 to $21 more a year in taxes. So awful headline. I don't understand why they chose. Interestingly enough, the print version did not have that same headline. So the print version simply said Town of Rochester budget at $6.7 million. So we'll see what it is. Our public hearing for the budget is next Thursday at 6:30 p.m. That will be followed immediately after that with a public hearing on the town board to exceed the 2% tax cap. Currently, we are having to exceed it just ever so slightly due to increases in the ambulance district, which equates to about $23,000 of additional funding. When we get to the final budget, if we get under the tax cap, then we do not need to do that. But at this moment, it looks like we will need to exceed the tax cap, but only by a small amount. And that's all I have. So, Mary Lou, attorney report?
The MTG 41 lawsuit, which was the tax assessment case, the stipulation's been filed by the attorneys, and so the case is settled, and now the next part of the process is the judge signs off on it. So as soon as we get the order from the judge, I'll get a copy and I will forward it to all of you for your files.
Great. I did think of one more thing for the supervisor. We had a training day last Monday for all town employees. It was a long day, but a good day. We started out the morning with the required trainings on sexual harassment, workplace violence, bloodborne pathogens, and hazardous materials. A gentleman from Shandaken who does these trainings did it for us at he does town of Rosendale and Marbletown, and we found him through them. In the rest of the morning, we had our insurance agent from Marshall & Sterling come in and go over next year's health insurance policy for all the employees. We brought in lunch from To Go Deli, and it was a very nice spread that they put on for us. Thank you to them for that. And then in the afternoon, Michael Richardson, our HR consultant, came and went through the employee handbook with all the employees, knowing that the last time we did that was 2018 or 19, I guess it was 19. And we have a number of new employees since then. So he did point out that we discovered there's some changes we've made, and he recommends that we do an update, but we don't need a full update. We just bring it up to current times. We've made resolutions amending it, but he's saying we should sort of codify it into the handbook and print a new one. So I'm going to be working with him on getting all that information. And, so, Kate, town clerk report?
So I have received a resignation from Seth Woodbury in the month of October. I've also received a cannabis application that was forwarded to the board from Back Home Farm LLC. So it's up to the board to decide how you want to handle that application. As far as the month of October, I have not received all the figures from each department yet, so I don't have the monthly report available. But the Hudson Valley National Center for Veteran Reintegration Organization, they're holding a coat drive from October 23rd to November 10th at various locations in the county. The town clerk's office was selected as being one of the drop-off locations. So if anybody has coats they'd like to drop off between now and next Friday, we are open 8 to 12, 1 to 4, Monday through Friday. Next Saturday is Veterans Day, and the Aqua Fire Company is holding a all-you-can-eat pancake breakfast. That's free to all veterans and their spouse. Everybody else is $8 a charge. All those fees will go towards the Hometown Hero banner project that we are working on for next year. And then at 11 a.m. at the Town of Rochester Veterans Park, we will have a service followed by the unveiling of the Town of Rochester Honor Roll. And I'm really proud to say that we have 727 town resident names on the honor roll. I'm really proud of it.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot through this whole process. I got to talk to people from receiving their draft letter to actually being, you know, in battle, and how split seconds changed their lives, and right on down to families, how they felt with it all. So it's probably been the most rewarding project I've ever worked on. And I'm really happy that there's been so many people that have started it and didn't get it completed. So I'm really proud that we've actually been able to complete it at this point. And I am committed to updating it every couple of years so it doesn't fall behind again. But so that will be next Saturday. And that's all I have to report for now.
Okay, just curious, what's the time frame of those veterans? How far back does that go?
So it started with World War I and World War II, but I did find in past research there were 3 people from the Revolutionary War,
Nice.
and I didn't remove them or anything
No,
like that.
no.
I'm
absolutely.
sure if we started going back that far,
Yeah.
which is really
Well, I'm
the
curious if
ending.
we had Civil War.
And Civil War was not added, but I did find a gentleman's photo that has a great story at the museum that lived in Palentown, and he was not added to it. But at the breakfast also, I do have a collection of photos and some memorabilia that people have collected over the years in the military that will be on display also. So that'd be a nice thing for the families.
Well, thank you, because I know how hard you've worked on it, and I know it's been at least a 3-year project for
Yeah.
you. So thank you for all your work on that. Very appreciated. Highway Superintendent, they are, as I said earlier, they've been assisting the vendor who's doing the rail trail work when needed. They did some work on what road was it that they closed yesterday? Throwing a
Well,
blank.
they had tobacco roads.
Yeah, it was. I apologize. There was a brief road closure yesterday while they did some work.
Oh, might have been
Stony Hill, thank you. I couldn't remember which road it was. And they're continuing that work and getting ready, unfortunately, for that inevitable first snowstorm. Salt shed is full, ready to go. And we'll have on with it. I hope so.
Me too.
Liaison reports. Charlotte, I'm gonna start with you because I don't think I started with you in a while.
So the elder care program, we had 5 new signups. We're starting to get into the season that is busier for the elder care program with home checks and calls and people getting stuck in their house from the snow. So 2 of them were actually from Florida for calling in to assign their parents or their grandparents up to different families, and 1 was the result of our elder care breakfast, our luncheon. It's not a luncheon, we're doing a luncheon this year, our elder care information session. And then the housing committee, they're working on the next task that they're going, since we're still in a pausing situation with the county, to start the entire housing site inventory of the town. They're going through and just double checking and looking at the changes that we are doing to like the ADU law and the short-term rental law, in the zoning code and just if they have any suggestions, getting them together. They know we can change the zoning code at any time if we need to. We can put changes in and put that up to public hearing. So they're working on that for the time being until we get some more information from the county and the console starts.
And we haven't seen any contracts yet on that, so I'll reach back out to Kai and see where that stands.
Perfect.
I don't know if we actually have to sign a contract because the county is funding.
No,
it,
it's through
so-
the county, I think.
Yeah.
I know we asked for a December start so that the zoning code was changed through that. So I told them we're not expecting anything to start till December. And this isn't a department liaison thing, but I just wanted to add someone to the in memoriam at the end of
No
the
problem.
agenda.
We have a couple, but thank you. Michael,
Okay, ZBA, I did not get a chance to review the meeting this month, but I did talk to Chair Zarowski, and there is some question. I think they want to have a conversation with the building department about one of the applications that's for them. And they may need a resolution passed by us, and Chair Zarowski said he was going to get me some language about that, but they may need that just so that they can request formally that they attend the meeting and provide some additional background.
okay,
Spectrum, was March Gallagher's meeting in October, or was that 2 months ago at this point? I have no concept of time. Yeah, anyway, Mark
don't
Gallagher
remember.
held a public meeting about broadband access in town. Mike, I know you were there in person. I got stuck and wasn't able to.
It was October.
It was, okay.
October.
So I wasn't able to get there. I did dial in. Zoom seemed like a good conversation. Spectrum has, I think I've mentioned this previous updates, they have re-engaged with us since we sent letters to every elected official we could think of. They're interested in having the conversation about possibly just covering the roads. I did send them a note back. I said, yeah, we'll look at any quote you want to give us. What I did ask for was if you could tell us when you're making those runs, which houses would actually be connected, and it would be great if for the houses that aren't being connected, that you could also give us what the price would be to connect them. The other thing I highlighted for them, because I know this has come up a few times when talking with Bells, is they have service. There are two directions service could come from, and the neighboring property has service. So I wanted to make sure that when they're surveying, they're not covering the long gap on Medicahonts, which is probably significantly more expensive because that has consistently been the high price that they've been giving us, and that they look from coming in the opposite direction to see if they can connect it that way. So haven't heard back from them yet, but hopefully they'll send the survey team out and actually get us a price for that. And then EMS and fire. So only update there. Appreciate both squads sending representation to our budget meeting. I think it was a good discussion with respect to their requests and how we can help them improve overall the kind of reporting that we feel like we need to be able to plan for this and budget into the future. So appreciate them stopping by and providing us some background on that. Obviously appreciate all the work that they do and continuing to see calls get answered. So it's great news. It does remind me though that I think we're going to have the next contract. So I think as a board, there are things that we want to change. We maybe talk through it during our workshop meeting, see if there's specific language we want to put in there or specific deliverables so that we can better track, where the town funds are going. So just something I think we should have on the agenda for the next meeting.
Okay.
And that's it.
Okay, and to follow up on that meeting that the digital commission that March Gallagher put together was at the Kerhonkson Firehouse. Thank you to them for letting us use it. We had about a dozen people, I want to say, including 5 and maybe 6 that came all the way down from Denny, I was amazed at the number of people, but they have 0 broadband up there in many areas. 3 or 4, 3 I think Rochester residents, and then probably another 4 or 5 came from Walworthing. It was a small group, but the ones that were there got heard, we got information from them, and we're just continuing gathering stories, as March calls it, and getting those back to the state to try to strengthen the need for broadband, so seems to be working. Adam?
Constabulary report. The constables answered 14 direct calls for service and other duties in October. There were 10 neighbor-to-neighbor and quality of life complaints, 3 resident traffic complaints, Medicahonks, Lower Whitfield, and Sampsonville, 1 environmental complaint, municipal lot, 3 new building department violations, 0 new court cases open, but 10 court cases remain open, and 1 court proceeding was closed. Interesting occurrences in the month. Rich Miller reports this month we had an interesting month in our town. A resident contacted us directly to report the front door to a residence they were watching for their neighbor was wide open. Working with the New York State Police, it was ultimately determined that the door had been left open inadvertently by the owner, and when they left to deal with a family emergency, the home was secured and nothing was reporting missing. The comings and goings of a small town. There you go.
Yep.
Traffic complaints from local residents this month consisted primarily of speeding and parking along town roads. Garbage dumping of household trash and other debris on town road remains an ongoing issue. Short-term rental properties continue to generate many complaints, especially on holidays, Fridays, and weekends. This month, the main complaint was people wandering into adjacent properties. Neighbor-to-neighbor complaints have decreased this month, with noise complaints being the most common. All have been diffused without further action necessary. Constabulary continues to monitor the area, which had the most complaints and that most frequently occurred. From our recreation department, from Ashley Sweeney. She says on Friday, November 10th, the recreation department and the Kingston Audiology Center will be offering free hearing screenings for senior citizens and veterans at the Harold Lipton Community Center from 11 to 2. You don't need to sign up, just walk-ins are welcome and encouraged. The Town of Rochester Recreation Department will be hosting the annual Thanksgiving luncheon on Friday, November 17th from 11:30 to 1:30 p.m. Here at the Community Center. Please call the rec department to make a reservation at 626-2115. And then there will be a holiday wreath making workshop on Wednesday, November 29th at 1 p.m. The class is free and supplies will be provided. Please call the recreation department. Sign up as space is very limited. Ashley. That's it.
Great, thank you, Adam.
I'm gonna keep it really short and sweet. I don't have much of substance to report from any of my departments. Just a reminder that there is a plastic bag recycling pickup this Saturday. If anyone has questions about any of my departments, you can ask, but I don't really have much. I don't think the 3rd Thursday has been announced for
Okay,
November.
yeah, I haven't seen an email on it.
I know
so-
it's Thanksgiving, so maybe they're not.
Yeah, they might not be. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Next, we're at our public comment section. Does anyone?
Speak on the HPC.
Oh, thank you, Kate. I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
Yes.
So the HPC held their award ceremony last Friday, October 27th. They had canceled them at Heritage Day due to the weather. Our first recipient was Henry Rich with the Accord Market. The HPC's rationale was the building is now occupied by the Accord Market. It was a signature commercial building along Main Street, recognizable in historic photos, and would be a loss if its profile was removed from the business district. The owners restored the building while paying attention to the historic details and attempting to dovetail modern code requirements with antique building features. The second award was issued to the Accord Fire Department regarding the Allergerville Firehouse. The HPC had hoped to preserve the Allergerville Firehouse for decades, and there was a great concern that it would be allowed to fall into complete disrepair rather than being restored. The fire department stepped up and integrated the building into a modern firehouse designed with the help of their architect and volunteer efforts of many of the firemen. That also was due to the storm recovery grant. Is that what it said? Because I have a question mark here, but that was the storm recovery grant. The Allergerville Firehouse,
It's, yeah,
New York Rising.
New York Rising.
And the third recipient was Peter Forsyth and the 1859 Dutch Reformed Church in Allergerville, New York. The building was the hub of worship in the 19th century. It could have fallen into disrepair or reconfigured into another way from its original footprint. The current owners have worked to restore the building over the years and most recently are restoring the key aspects of the building that will preserve its character for years to come. So congratulations to all these recipients. On October 14th, they held their second series of Hamlet Talks. It was in regards to the Pawtucket Hamlet area. It was held here due to the weather. There was approximately 30 people in attendance. It was a great time by the residents. They loved it, and they are already planning on hosting 4 next year in various locations, open for Whitfield, Tabasco, Mombacas, and Algerville. In the spring
And
of
it's
20.
available on the town's YouTube because we recorded. So,
Yeah. That's all.
thank you, Kate. Also, a quick note, some good news this week. The Ulster County Resource Recovery Agency met Monday for their monthly meeting. In August, they had approved a budget that included a $10 per ton increase from 110 to 120. They reconsidered that in adopting their final budget Monday night, and they adopted with a 3-2 vote of their board members to go to a $115 per ton. With the addition of the 9% fuel surcharge that they're adding, that puts us comparable to all the surrounding counties. It puts us approximately at about $124 a ton with the surcharge. Other counties are anywhere from 120 to 127. So we're kind of right in the middle. That $5 per ton difference is going to make a big difference for us in our pricing. I was going to propose that we go to $9 per card. I'm going to rerun the numbers and see if we can maybe stay at 8 and not go up to 9. But I got to really sit down and crunch the numbers to see. We're right on the edge because they've raised it the last couple of years and we stayed at 8. And I think we're getting to where we have to go to 9, but being that they came down less, we may not need to. All their other charges remain the same. There's a thing in your flyer with those charges. The compactors that we had hoped for, though, have been removed from their capital project plan, and they will not be pursuing that with their new board. So they are instead buying 2 electric vehicle roll-off vehicles to deal with greenhouse gases and emissions instead of doing the compactors. So that's the route they decided to go. Okay. That's what they said. That's what they're budgeting for. Yeah, I didn't know they existed, but it's kind of fascinating. Okay, now we're up to public comment. Does anyone wish to speak tonight? Okay, I see you have one person online, someone named Nick. Do you wish to speak? Okay, I'm gonna assume that the answer is no. Okay, so since there was no public comment, there's no reason for us to respond to public comment. I'd open it up for any other matters that any other board members might want to bring up tonight.
So I just wanted to ask Erin a question about one of her. Do you need to have any update on the website at all, or are they still trying to migrate?
No, that's me. I'm
You're
the migrator.
You're the.
Well, yeah, I have made a bit of progress on the content. I'm hoping to have to finish up the draft this weekend. I have the block of time for that. And then I'm hoping we can publish it before the end of the year for sure, but it would be great if it was like the end of November.
Okay, cool. That's
So-
kind of what I was wondering.
Yeah,
about.
it's on me right now. We're holding up on me. If you
No hold up. I just wanted, like, someone asked me if I knew when the new website
Yeah.
was gonna launch, and I was like, I think before the end of the year,
Yes,
but I
it
wanted to
should.
double check.
It's really just everything else is ready. It's just the content and
Content.
forms stuff. Yeah.
It's a lot of content.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. I've seen.
And we opted not to just have them transfer because we thought having them transfer it and then removing would have been probably more work trying to catch things than just
Yeah.
deciding what we're transferring.
And we
So-
remapped the whole
Yeah.
website. so it was hard. There was no like one-to-one.
Yeah, it was a very conscious decision, but we just sort of thought it would be better moving forward than moving backwards, trying to remove stuff. So that's where we're at. And Aaron is taking it on and very admirably, but it's a lot of work. Once it's up and running, we'll be able to share it with all the department heads to do their own updates. And so,
Well, thank you, Aaron. And then I had one other thing, just as a note to any residents, anyone here from the public, most people know I run the Roundup Valley Food Pantry and we're doing our Thanksgiving signups. If anyone or anyone you know finds themselves needing a Thanksgiving meal to cook at home, we provide 3 days worth of food, all themed for a Thanksgiving dinner to anyone who signs up with us that lives in the Roundup Valley School District. And you can call 845-687-4013 or just Google Roundup Food Pantry and our number pops up. So I just wanted to make sure I extended that out to everyone. We also do Christmas, so if you need help there too, please don't hesitate to call.
thank you. Okay, so moving on to resolutions. Should we table the October 5th ones?
Yeah, I think when I got home, I didn't email it.
Okay. The October 5th, there was, the template that is used didn't get updated, so there were some missing things that Kate and I discovered in the last couple days, and so we didn't get it out to everybody. So we're gonna say the town board accepts the minutes of the October 3rd workshop, the October 12th workshop, the October 19th workshop, the October 25th workshop, and the other October 26th audit meeting as presented. And we will table the October 5th business meeting until next week.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained. Thank you, Kate. It's been a lot of meetings and I'm getting information to her for meetings when it's with budget workshops where it's just us, and appreciate all the work she's doing and that Christina is doing to keep on top of the minutes. Donations. There's a packet in your, there's a 3 pages in your folder. The first one is not. The Town of Rochester Town Board accepts donation of a handcrafted sandbox for installation at the town park by Sarah and James Farrell. I'd like to make that motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
This is a couple who reached out to me and wanted to build a sandbox for our town park because there was an area of sand that it's just sort of collected and it kind of became a makeshift sand play area. And they decided we really need a sandbox. So they built one. They got donations of the sand and they constructed it on site and filled it with the sand and greatly appreciated. So thank you to them for that.
Can I just ask a question? Is there a cover for it? They build it with a cover to go over.
I don't remember.
Weed whackers, grass. My
Yeah.
sandbox is filled with grass right now because I don't have a cover and that's.
It's a
I'm
good idea,
curious.
and you know what?
Yes.
Tarp or something over it. That's a good suggestion. Had not occurred to me, but I
Normally, I know
Understand.
my sandbox that my dad built as a kid was just a piece of plywood with a hinge to turn out the top of it to turn it off of there, so.
okay.
It should be an easy fix if there's not one, but I was just curious.
I'll look into it. Thank you for that suggestion.
You made the motion.
Yeah, I have a motion in a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Next, Town of Rochester Town Board accepts donations in the total amount of $50 from Nancy Smith, $300 from Zach Kleinhandler. Those two were for the Thanksgiving luncheon. $50 from the Rochester seniors, and that was in memory of Jerry Gray. And that we received 132 in various cash donations from Heritage Day.
Make that motion.
One second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained. Next, authorizing a grant application. We did this last month and we sent the resolution, and unfortunately we didn't have the exact wording that JCAP wanted us to have. So they asked us to do another resolution. So the Town of Rochester Town Board authorizes the Town of Rochester Town Court to apply for a JCAP grant in the 2023-2024 grant cycle up to $30,000.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained. Kate, I need a certified copy of that, please. Yeah, and my apologies, I didn't have the exact wording when we made the first resolution, but we got it afterward. Yep. Next, we are going to be setting 3 public hearings. First is local law 12, 2023, chapter 125 subdivision. Town of Rochester Town Board sets a public hearing on local law 12 of 2023, amendment to chapter 125 subdivision. Code of the Town of Rochester to be held Thursday, November 30th, 2023 at 6:30 p.m. The Harold Lipton Community Center, 15 Tobacco Road, Accord, New York, 12404. Request the town clerk circulate public notice.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
I'll second.
It's been a long time coming. I'm proud that we're able to do these resolutions. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained. And for the public, that once these public hearings happen, our plan is to by December 15th, we will adopt these codes and the moratorium will expire as of December 15th. Next is setting a public hearing for local law 13 of 2023, chapter 140 zoning. Town of Rochester Town Board sets a public hearing on local law 13 of 2023, amendment to chapter 140 zoning, code of Town of Rochester, to be held Thursday, November 30th, 2023, immediately following the public hearing on local law 12 at the Harold Lipton Community Center, 15 Tobacco Road, Accord, New York. Request the town clerk circulate public notice.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Second. For the board, the referral to the county was heard last night by the county planning board. We got back a well done statement and a couple of advisory comments. I would say less than half a dozen, and we'll be getting those within the next week or so. So, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained. Next, local law 14 of 2023, amendment to the zoning map. Town of Rochester Town Board sets a public hearing on local law 14 of 2023, amendment to the zoning map, to be held Thursday, November 30th, 2023, immediately following the public hearing on local law 13 of 2023 at the Harold Lipton Community Center, 15 Tobacco Road, Accord, New York. And request the town clerk circulate public notice.
I'll make that motion.
Have a second.
Second.
Yes.
Can we set the public hearing if we haven't done this yet?
Yes, because we can still, we're just setting the date and time for the public hearing because Kate has to notice it.
Okay.
After, for the public and we will be meeting this Saturday to hopefully finish the map. I actually just got back today from Tom Hines drafts of where we stand as of now, as of the previous changes. I'm gonna email them all to you. I think we can, Mary Lou, right? We're just setting a public hearing. We don't have to have the finished product to set the public hearing.
To set the public hearing, you have to have something presented to the board. So
Okay.
if you don't have that presented to the board, you should wait until
Okay.
you're meeting on Saturday and then set the public
Okay,
hearing.
so we will table this for the moment
Okay.
then, table this resolution.
And
So-
then for 12 and 13, will those versions?
Those
go
will be, the
on-
versions that we refer to the county will be posted on the website with this,
Okay.
with this notice.
Great.
And be available for the public. We, obviously, when we get the comments back from the county, and I'm hoping this Saturday, we talk through the comments from the county that we already received back on the subdivision. And we decide what we want to do on those, just to, I think we do the map first, but if we have time, we do those comments as well. And then, so we're that much further ahead. Because otherwise, we have the public hearing on the 30th. There's still enough time that we can do this next Thursday. Because Tom told me that if I get him the changes on Monday, he can have it back to us by Wednesday.
So we're gonna post one copy of all of the zoning changes. It's not gonna be multiple.
Right, it's one.
The red line copy that we've been working on, is what will be posted.
Can we also put that in E-code under the new?
That's where it's gonna go.
Okay.
On E-code
And
in the draft, not new legislation, because it's not adopted yet. It goes under the draft
Right,
draft.
where everything else is gonna go.
Do do we delete all the other ones or that'll just be listed?
This one will be on top. I'd
Okay.
rather leave all the others because when we held all those public hearings
Right.
open. And Mary Lou, you'll have to weigh in on me, for me of how I do that, because we had public hearings open on each subchapter, but now that we're combining them all into one. So you don't need to tell me now. We can talk off.
I mean, you can close all those other public hearings and open the public hearing with everything together, and you just don't have to take action on the other ones after you close them.
Okay,
I wonder if we can group subdivision and zoning, so it's clear, like, these are the ones that are.
Well, they'll be
public
at the
hearing.
they'll be at the top.
Yeah.
And maybe a note can just
I'll
be put above them
name it
for
appropriately.
public hearing on
Exactly.
11:30.
Because I know people were confused when they went to the site.
Yeah, the title, it's not there yet because we haven't set the public hearing, so.
Okay.
Okay, so we're skipping local law, or I'm not, yeah, we're skipping 14 for the moment, and we'll take that up next week when we have the maps in front of us. Next is a request, and Mary Lou is gonna tell me we have to change a little bit of wording on this.
Yes.
I'm gonna read the resolution and then we'll amend it. So the resolution is authorizing the supervisor to sign an easement and boundary line agreement. Town of Rochester Town Board authorizes the town supervisor to sign an easement and boundary line agreement between the town of Rochester, 50 Scenic Road, Accord, New York, and Marilyn Tetlow, 54 Scenic Road, Accord, New York, 12404, subject to review by the attorney for this town. So, Mary Lou, why don't you tell me how we should amend that?
I would take out subject to review by the attorney for the town
Okay.
and put subject to receipt and review of attachments by the attorney for the town. Receipt, review, and approval, sorry. Because I've already reviewed the easement, it's fine, but we want to make sure the descriptions of the land, et cetera, are fine. They were left blank on the document presented.
Okay, so given the new wording, do I have a motion as was just amended?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, so for discussion, this is an agreement that was done between the town board and the Tetlows when Mr. Tetlow was still living, quite a while ago. That was never memorialized. It was done as a resolution in minutes that the town board would allow. This is for the fence that is along the O&W Rail Trail, which is on our property. Mary Lou and I had a meeting with Ms. Tetlow's attorney back in the late spring, early summer. Came to an agreement that, and the conditions that were imposed by the town board are the parts that are in number 3. That is word for word what the meeting, what the board back then agreed to. It just never, for whatever reason, never actually got done and filed. So when we started discussion of this, while redoing the O&W Rail Trail, I said to Ms. Tetlow, so we really just need to memorialize the agreement. So her attorney wrote this. Mary Lou's reviewed it, and except for the one change where he had town of Yorktown instead of town of Rochester, she is fine with it. However, there's no exhibits attached to it, the schedules, and we need them to be included. So Mary Lou, when they're provided, Mary Lou's going to reach out to the attorney, get those. If the board's okay with her looking and improving the language of them, it's basically a copy of the deed, along with some other things. It's just memorializing what was agreed to by the town board many years ago and never got.
And so the easement is just to
Have the fence on our property.
And it doesn't obligate us to maintain.
No, it's clear in number 3.
Oh,
Yes. The grantee shall maintain the fence in its original condition at all times.
All responsibility will be Mrs. Tetlow's or her, predecessors. I'm sorry, not predecessors, they're gone already. For those who own the property later, this will be recorded in the county clerk's office, so it's clear. So in 20 years, when somebody says, what's up with that dilapidated fence? You can go to the county clerk's office and say, oh, the owner of that property is responsible.
And she did suggest that perhaps the town might want to think about painting a mural on the rail trail side, which I think is actually a fairly interesting idea. And maybe in the spring, we reach out to some local artists and see if maybe they want to combine together, because it's a rather long fence. Maybe we could have something really interesting painted on there. Obviously, we would approve it, but
Should start from the canal and move into the train,
yeah, just
Oh, could be a train.
right?
yeah,
Kind of cool.
yeah, just an idea. I love that idea. Save
We-
us that.
If we want to do that, I love that idea as well. Right now, it says that she'll paint it in a green to match the surroundings. So
And that's why she's doing that base, just in a generic neutral color rather than some darker color. So the green
we
was
should-
my suggestion to her.
we should add language that the town may paint a mural upon the fence should
Okay,
it so desire.
okay.
Decorate our side.
Do you want to, when you reach out to her attorney, just ask him?
So
that?
let's, yeah, and we'll add that amendment to the motion.
Yeah, she was okay with that. It was actually her suggestion.
But the way it's worded now, if a future owner moved in.
Right. They'd say, why, who painted this? It's supposed to be green.
So, and it's on the town side of the fence, not her side, so.
And Mary Lou, this doesn't obligate us in any way to offer similar arrangements to other.
No, no.
Any other board questions? Okay, so with those changes that we just made, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained. Great. Kate, she's probably gonna come in the office tomorrow and you can just let her know that Mary was gonna talk to her attorney in case I'm not there when she gets there. Cause she was looking for it already today. I do want to add the possibility of this resolution. We'll put it in as a discussion item first, but Mary Lou, that Jeremy is asking, and I'll read you the statement that he sent me. He said, "I'd like to make a recommendation, the town board adopt a resolution to make the electronic property record card the official record card for the town. That way, we don't have to continuously update paper record cards. Once they make a change in the RPS system, the electronic card is automatically updated." He says we can just adopt the resolution. We don't have to do this tonight. You can get me language and we can do it at a future
Okay.
meeting. Do you have any issues with it?
I have no issues with it. If you can just send me what he sent to you, so I
I'll
have
send you
it.
the email that he sent me and then you can just word it appropriately. So we won't do anything tonight on that, but we will take it up at a new meeting. Move into the digital world. The next thing he said, Mary Lou, this is changes to the senior citizens exemption and persons with disabilities and limited incomes. It's Part K, and I'll scan this to you. He handed it to me, a copy of something. It's Part K of Chapter 59 of the laws of 2023. It amended the senior exemptions, which is RPTL 467, and the persons with disabilities and limited incomes, which is RPTL 459C. It redefines what's considered income for purposes of exemptions. It clarifies which income tax year applies when determining income eligibility, and it replaces gender-specific language with gender-neutral language. So, I don't know if we'll need to change our law or not because of that, but I'll let you.
Yeah, if you want to adopt what the state is allowing, we'll likely have to do a local law on that.
Okay,
But I'll read the language of the.
I'll
of
scan
chapter
it to
59.
you, and he just gave it to me earlier this week, and I know you were away, so I'll scan it to you. You can look at it. come up with language and we'll do a local law and probably in December, maybe even do the public hearing in December so we can get it done. So then it would take effect for the March exemption period. Okay, next discussion, I emailed the board a copy of the letter I got from Warsing. We currently donate, or not donate, but pay $22,000 a year toward the Cohasset Pool. It's been that the entire time I've been here and probably a long time before it. Warsing, unfortunately, after we did our preliminary budget, sent me an email, probably because when they did their preliminary budget, they were like, we need more money. They're asking to go to 30,000. I just wanted to get feedback from the board on what you thought. All we would have to do is when we do our budget amendments after the public hearing, before we adopt the final, we would change it to the 30. But I wanted to just get feedback if anybody thought that it was too much, too little. I'm sure nobody thinks it's too little.
We do have a good swimming hole now, good park.
I personally think, I mean, if it hasn't been raised in what, 6 years then?
It's been more than that. It's
More
been
than
5 now with since I've been here. I don't know that it's ever been raised. I think that's you know how long that agreement has existed? And I don't even know that it was ever actually memorialized. We sent
Yeah,
them a letter.
I think
yeah.
it was, Mike. I don't have a copy, but I remember reviewing one and it was probably 20 years ago.
That's probably when I used to swim
Yeah.
the Barracudas at the pool there.
And they've never, Terry has hinted previous years that they were gonna ask for more money, but this is the first year they actually follow through on it, so. I think for the use of the pool and the Barracuda swim team, I think we consider it, so. So when we do our final budget, after our public hearing, we, as board members, we can offer changes to the final budget, from the preliminary to the final. And I'm gonna go ahead and we'll present that as one of the changes to go from 22 to 30,000 for that budget line. Next is the climate smart community. We did this resolution and I have copies of it here quite a while ago. It's kind of fallen a little by the wayside. So all I'm gonna do now, and Aaron has talked to some people, some people have reached out to me that are expressing interest. There's about 6 people that have reached out to me and I don't know how many.
I think they're the same.
Okay, so what I'd like to do is with the board's okay, we don't need a resolution for it. I'll put out an official call for committee members and ask it to be turned in by December 1st or whatever. We'll find.
I have a counter suggestion.
Okay.
If it's okay, because I was thinking about this because I've had people reach out to me with interest. I've done a very small amount of preliminary work, but this is my proposal.
Okay.
Is that on December 3rd, I'd like to host an information session utilizing the resources that we had to get people. I've been in touch with the local champ program that we went
What
through.
day is December?
It's a Sunday.
Okay.
Kate told me the community center is available.
Yeah.
And have more people attend and then have people really be able to
Right.
learn about, because that's the one thing that has been happening is when I talk to people about it, they're like, and then I could even have application.
Remember, our board meeting that week is the 5th, not the 7th, because
Okay.
of the holidays, so the Jewish holidays. So that's perfect.
Yeah, so that was my proposal. I thought it might be good. And if anyone thought it was appropriate to have any other information about any of the other boards,
Yep.
I could do that. But to me, I thought, this would be good. And then maybe there's more people that could come and I promote it.
What if, I'll take it a step further, what if we got to do an open house where we talk about various boards?
Yeah. That I was thinking
Yeah.
if people were, I'd be happy to do I've done a lot of the legwork already on Climate Smart, but we have a lot of seats open on the ECC.
Well, that's my next thing.
I could
about
have,
the
we
show.
could have tables and like mini.
Mary Lou,
presentations.
question, if there's more than 2 board members here, is that town business that it becomes a town
Yes.
meeting?
Yes, it does.
Okay. So we will just need to consider, we can call it, certainly call it a town board meeting.
Yeah,
We can do that resolution next week. Or you even do it tonight if we wanna do it. then.
if more than 2 of us want to be there. Yeah.
I will commit to at least trying to be there. I don't know my exact schedule for that day, but I'll try to find out.
Let's just do it so we're covered.
Yeah.
I was thinking too, so
What
we're
time?
covered.
I reserved the community center from 12 to 4. I was thinking 1.
Okay, 1 to 3?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. So I'm gonna make a resolution that we schedule,
Wait. Sorry, if we don't have a quorum, can we then not do it? If we make it a meeting?
if
That's
we
a
make
good
the
point.
meeting,
It's
What?
just information. It's not like.
Yeah, but that's still, if you don't have a quorum, you can't have a meeting.
let's wait till next week to make the resolution.
Yeah,
And
what-
maybe, yeah, figure out how many of you
If you're
will
not
be
gonna
there.
come, Aaron and I will plan on coming. We can make it so there's no more than 2 board members, and then we don't have
And
that.
another possibility is you have 2 board members, but if you could get somebody from the
Chairs.
EEC,
Yeah.
from the various committees who are on them now to actually talk, then it's not
That is
it's
not a
not-
town board.
a town board meeting.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, what I honestly, I was hoping to have more subject matter experts and then we would facilitate question and answer and then I was thinking I could set up a digital application too, so people could apply and those responses
Okay.
could be sent.
So you 3 decide if one of you wants to, and I don't mind stepping back if one of you wants to come, so we don't have more than 2. We'll go from there. We'll just plan on not having more than 2 town board members. And if we decide next week that we wanna do 3, then we just have to commit to it and make it a town board meeting.
Do you think it would be problematic to talk about other boards? Do you think? we
What
should
I would
keep it-
want is to have, I would want to do an agenda, so we had a climate smart presentation for a certain time, but then I think we would have tabling and then another part of it where if anyone else wanted to present, we would have like an agenda.
Okay.
I'm not sure what other boards would really need.
Is it better to make it's kind of informal where there's just tables set up where people can drop in so they don't have to commit to being there?
Yeah, I don't think anyone should have to commit to being there. I do feel like it would, if I can get there's a technical assistant advisor available to us, if I could get her
Okay.
here to speak about climate smart, I think that would be cool. But I don't think that would I think we can do both. Is what I'm saying. So anyone not interested in climate smart would come later,
Okay,
as long as there's.
well, why don't we have time, let's sort of finalize it a little more next week.
Okay, I'll work.
And
on
then,
that.
in the meantime, at the end of December, this will be the openings on our boards and commissions. So the ones that are names are people that are seated members who are possibly being renewed. We know there's some resignations, and our Board of Ethics member who is coming up this year is actually term limited out. There's a limit on the number of terms you can serve on the Board of Ethics, and he will be term limited out. I gotta verify that, but I believe he's been appointed twice. So I think he's term. The Board of Assessment Review person has already told me that she will not be renewing. And we know that we just received a resignation effective December 31 from a planning board member. Mary Lou, I know the resignation is only effective for 30 days. Do we have to ask her she sent us a resignation saying she's resigning as of December 31. Do we need to ask her to send another one?
You know, off the top of my head, I can't answer that, but I can check for you.
Okay. It just occurred to me, from what I remember in New York State law, you can't resign more
You
than.
can, resign within 30 days. That's in the back of my mind as well, Mike, so I'll look that up.
employees. I didn't realize it was all for, commission.
No, well, and maybe it's only elected officials. I know elected, it's that way.
It's employees too. But
Well, we'll check and find out, and if we have
Let's see
that,
if it's officers.
is her term up this year?
no,
No.
she's
I heard she
resigning.
was like-
Yeah, so we do need a resignation, because her term is not up till 12/26, so. Okay, but that's the list of, what we have available, so. And somehow we ended up with an awful lot of HBC members that all went on at the same time. And what I may propose is that next year we not make them all be 3-year terms, we make some of them be 2-year terms, only to sort of break it up. So we don't have 8 or 9 people all at one time of a 15-member board. So. Security proposal. As I was asked by the board, I got the 2 proposals in front of us for the physical site security consulting services. We have the one from FR6 LLC, and I emailed both of these to you as well. They are proposing a cost of, somebody may have to help me find the pricing on the back page. The total project cost is $30,110. That was for all the tasks. We just want to make sure that we're comparing an apples to apples comparison.
Unless the not to exceed.
Yeah, the not to exceed. Okay, so page 7, it has the 6 tasks. So 1 would be initial meetings. 2 would be an on-site evaluation. 3, they will do data analysis and a master plan design. 4, they'll deliver a draft report, schematics and drawings. 5 is our feedback. 6, they remain available to discuss their recommendations. So essentially, that is what we asked them for. They just broke it down more than, this is not for them to do any actual work. This is just, any actual installation. This is to review our current situation, make recommendations for changes, and then it's on us to take it the next step. So that's $30,110. DDQ's proposal is I found it earlier, and of course I should have highlighted it because it's somewhat buried in the proposal. And their tasks are actually step 1 through, they broke down each section more. So they are 1 through 18 with tasks to do the same thing, develop the report. I know I saw it in here. In the cover page? Bad when you can't find the price. Oh, it's probably on the email. It's toward the back, page 23. It's in that's a contract there. It's got to be in there. Here it is, fees, retainers and invoicing, number 7. I thought I saw an amount somewhere, but I don't see it.
The only thing I saw an amount, from October return. Yeah, the proposal term.
Where was that?
$4,000.
Oh,
It's on the back of exhibit.
thank you. That's what it is. It's the $4,000. So they're estimating $4,000. Was on the back of which?
It's after, it's exhibit 2. Firm proposal terms is what the top page.
Yeah, it's page 11, but they're kind of cut off on the sides.
Got it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that is the number that I saw. Yeah, there it is. $4,000. So including the 4,000, remain firm for 120 days as indicated, and that was made to us on October.
I think it was the 13th.
So it's 4,000 versus 30,110. So does the board do you want to review these more thoroughly and make a decision next week? Do you want to award?
I'd like to review.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll put this on our agenda for the night after the public hearing, and we can make a decision that night. And Mary Lou, did I email these to you as well?
Yes, you did.
Yeah, so if you can look, and see if there's anything that you have legal concerns of, let us know.
I will do that.
For the public, so that you understand what we're talking about, we had put out a request for proposals earlier in the year for security companies to do an analysis of all the town buildings and properties and for just general security improvements that we should do. We had 4 companies respond. The board reviewed those responses and narrowed it down to 3. We invited all 3 to come spend a few hours, and I took them on a tour of all the properties and all the buildings in the town that are town controlled. And 1 company after that decided they were not interested, and these 2 have continued being interested and now have made a final proposal to us for this is for a study and a report of improvements we can make, not to do any physical work. If we wanted to do physical work of improvements after that, we would do that on our own based on their recommendations. So, okay, that's all I have tonight. Do you have
So
anything?
I just have one thing. I just want to remind everybody that next week my daughter is getting married, so I'm going to be doing mother of the bride things. I'm not sure what that is. But next week I will not be available because I'll be doing something that I think is really important, but I don't know what.
And I'm sure it will be really important.
Right.
So I will try to talk to you tomorrow to catch up.
Yes.
We don't have to talk next week because I know you will not be available and I get it. So thank you and
Okay.
luck with all that.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Yes.
Pride has something to do with Chardonnay.
Chardonnay and yelling at photographers.
Yeah. Okay, so with that, just like to remind everybody, Sunday is daylight savings time.
Yeah.
Ends, set your clock back Saturday night when you go to bed. And
Oh, I love it.
so the names that, Charlotte, you had the name?
I just wanted to add, John Thomas Tolbert, who is a board member, a guest, and also a longtime volunteer for the Rondout Valley Food Pantry, who passed away a week and a half ago.
Tolbert.
Tolbert, for John.
Thank you. Okay, you had Betty Kowalczyk, who is sad to say passed this week.
He was a long-time member of the ZBA. And I'd like to add Landon DeLeese. He would be Christina's nephew. He was a junior at Conic Hills High School. He was killed in a car accident last week.
And that's DELIS.
CELEA.
EAS. Okay, so we will be adjourning in memory of Marguerite Peggy Lapp, another longstanding community member and volunteer. Gordon Brown, also another longstanding community member. Daniel Johnson, who was a former Walworthing councilman. Dennis Weiss, not from our community, but was the town of Kingston, excuse me, town clerk. Lillian Gregory, Edward Gillespie, who was a neighbor of mine. Catherine Metrick Hart, Diana Traver Romanek, Richard McElree, Jan Woolham, Raymond Lawrence Jr., Geraldine Gray, Robert Anderson, Marcy Schaaf, and then we are adding John Thomas Tolbert, Betty Kowalchuk, and Landon DeLeese. And we continue to remember those suffering from gun violence, especially the people in Maine of the recent tragedy there, and the people of Ukraine. And I'd like to add the people of Israel and Palestine.
And can I just add that Peggy Lapp was also a deputy town clerk for many years.
I didn't know that.
Yes,
Interesting.
she was.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So
So
with
I got
that,
a motion to adjourn.
and do I have a
I'll
second?
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. So I will-